Namaskar, friends. I am Pratish Kumar Khare. Today is 21st February 2023, and day is being celebrated Mother's Language Day. Santi Swarup Bhatnagar Sahab born today. Surikant Tripathi ji, who was a great poet of Hindi, he is born today. So today I am with you and I am going to discuss as usual on the industrial safety topics. Earlier you have gone through my podcast and through video. Today's topic is industrial safety scenario in India and related legislations. Legislations time to time that amendments made, but where we are standing today, why I have to say today that is because it's a continual improvement subject. Safety is not the one day job or 1 hour's job. It is a continual activities. But what has to be done and what already done by our ancestors and upcoming generation, what they have to do for the betterment of the safety, industrial safety in industries. So, something I have collected from the various resources. Nowadays, good resources are available. That is Google, Chat GPT, Quora Digest, and no doubt WhatsApp also and Facebook. So, I'm believing what I'm going to share with you, it will be helpful for your day-to-day activities in industry, particularly for development of the safety and strengthening of the safety. The industrial safety in India has gained significant attention in recent years due to increasing incidents of industrial accidents and the growing awareness about the importance of maintaining a safe work environment. Despite various measures being taken by government and industries, industrial safety in India still faces several challenges. If you will see my earlier podcasts, I have discussed the challenges for industrial safety, but here is this. I'm going to discuss on this particular thing in the different way. The major concern in industrial safety in India are related to compliance with the safety regulations, worker training, lack of safety equipments, inadequate safety measures, and improper maintenance of equipment. Many companies are not complying with safety regulations which put their workers and environment at risk. The lack of proper training of workers also increases the risk of accidents. The government of India has taken various initiatives to improve industrial safety, including the implementation of the Factories Act 1948 and the Mines Act 1952, and BOCW also introduced for the betterment of the construction workers. And the introduction of the National Safety Council. National Safety Council is the autonomous body, and I will discuss in detail about that. The government has also made it mandatory for companies to obtain safety certification from the Bureau of Indian Standards. In short, it is being called as a BIS, to ensure that their products meet safety standards. In recent years, the use of advanced technology and automation has improved industrial safety in many sectors, including chemical and the petrochemical, steel and power. However, many small and the medium-sized enterprises still lack of resources to implement advanced safety measures. Dear friends, overall, while there have been some improvement in industrial safety in India, there is still a long way to go. The government and industries need to work together to increase awareness about the importance of safety, promote compliance with the safety regulations, and provide adequate training and resources to workers to ensure a safe and healthy work environment. Advanced technology and automation have significantly contributed to improving industrial safety in various sectors. Here are some examples of how technology and automation are used in industrial safety. Nowadays, safety sensors are being used. Safety sensors are used to detect changes in the environment such as temperature, pressure, and toxic gas level. They can alert workers and supervisors about potential hazards and provide real-time data to prevent accidents. And these safety sensors are playing very good role, particularly for reduction in the unsafe conditions. Robotics are increasingly used in manufacturing and other industry to perform dangerous or the repetitive tasks. They can help reduce the risk of injury to workers by performing hazardous tasks. This use of the robotics are reducing the area of the unsafe acts, which were being observed during the investigation. Unsafe act and unsafe condition are the two parameters where when we are preparing the data of the accident and we are concentrating on that. Wearable technology such as smart helmet, gloves, and glasses can monitor workers' vital signs, location, and other information in real time. This information can help identify potential hazards and prevent accidents. Virtual and augmented reality. Virtual and augmented reality can be used to provide immersive training to workers in a safe environment. Workers can experience and practice working with the hazardous material or the operating complex machinery without any risk. This virtual and augmented reality system are being used for the giving the training to the these drivers also. In some country they are using. And it has come in India also, and nearby the SAARC country also gradually developing their safety system. Internet of Things. In short, it is being called IoT. IoT is used to connect and monitor various devices and systems in real time. It can help identify potential safety hazards, optimize production, and prevent accidents. Overall, advanced technology and automation are increasingly being used in industrial safety to improve workplace safety and reduce the risk of accident. These technologies can help identify potential hazards, provide real-time information, and improve training and awareness, all of which contribute to safer and a healthier work environment. So, technological development is taking place in India as well in the SAARC countries. This postcard, I am having the target that our India and the SAARC countries has to be pioneer for the industrial safety aspects, because the workers from India and the SAARC countries are spreading all over the world. Once I met one of the worker who was working in Middle East and come back and discussing, sir, in this area this is being used, why it is not being used in India? So I have told him gradually it is also taking place in India and the SAARC countries, and you will feel after some time what you are observing in the other countries, and when you are going to perform the task, actually these are available in India also. So, I have discussed about the scenario. Now I am going to discuss that development, particularly in the legislation side. That what was the legislation's amendments time to time has taken place. The industrial safety in India is governed by the various laws and regulations that are aimed at ensuring the safety and health of workers in industrial establishments. Some of the key legislation related to industrial safety in India includes the Factories Act 1948. This act lays down a provision for the safety, health, and welfare of the workers in factories. It requires the employer to provide a safe working environment, adequate ventilation, clean drinking water, adequate lighting. The act also mandates the appointment of safety officers and the formation of the safety committees to ensure compliance with the safety regulations. The Mines Act 1952. This act regulates the safety, health, and welfare of workers employed in mines. It requires the employer to provide safe working conditions, ventilation, lighting, and the clean drinking water, and also mandate the appointment of mine inspectors and the formation of the safety committees to ensure the compliance with the safety regulations. The Petroleum Act and Natural Gas Regulatory Board Act 2006. This act establishes a regulatory board to oversee the safety, health, and environment aspects of the petroleum natural gas industries. The Chemical Accidents, Emergency Planning, Preparedness, and the Response Rule 1996. These rules prescribe safety standards and the emergency responses procedure for the handling of the hazardous chemicals. Time to time, the changes has come through the gadgets. The Indian Boiler Regulations 1950. These regulations prescribe safety standards for the design, construction, and operation of boilers. The Atomic Energy Act 1962. This act regulates the safety, health, and environment aspects of the nuclear power generation units and the construction sites. Under the Atomic Energy Act, the one rule also framed that's being called Factories Rule 1996. The Environment Protection Act 1986. This act is aimed at the protecting and improving the environment at lays down provisions for the prevention and control of pollution. In addition to these laws, the National Safety Council of India, an autonomous body under the Ministry of Labour and Employment, promotes safety awareness and provides training program for the workers and the employers to ensure a safe and healthy work environment. The Factories Act 1948 is a central legislation that regulates the safety, health, welfare, and working condition of the worker. The Act was last amended in 2020. Some of the key changes made in the Factories Act 1948 are: increase the threshold. The Government of India increased the threshold for the applicability of the Factories Act 1948 from 10 workers to 20 workers, with the objective of promoting ease of doing business. Women's safety. The amendment provides for the better safety measure for women workers, such as providing separate washroom and provision for the sexual harassment at the workplace. That was the great problem, and women workers are facing the problem and they are working in the industry. Annual medical examination. The amendment makes it mandatory for all factories to conduct annual medical examination of workers and maintain a record of the same. Working hours. The amendment empowers the state government to increase the maximum working hours in a day from 9 hours to 12 hours, subject to the condition that workers are provided with the overtime wages. Welfare provision. The amendment provides for the additional welfare provision for workers such as canteens, shelters, and the restrooms. Inspection and enforcement. The amendment provides for the increased inspection and the enforcement of the provision of the Act, including the imposition of the penalties for the non-compliance. It is important to note that some of the changes made in the Factories Act 1948 are subject to the discretion of the respective state governments. Therefore, it is necessary to check the state-specific rules and the regulations. In detail, if you are going through the Factories Act 1948, it is must we have to check the respective state governments. But in the case of the nuclear power industry, the separate rules passed by the Parliament is available as the Factories Act 1986 rules. Therefore, the Factories Act 1948 is a central legislation that regulates the safety, health, welfare, and the working condition of the workers that I have discussed in detail about that. The Factories Act amended Act 1954. The first amendment to the Factories Act was made in 1954, which provides for the appointment of the safety officers in factories employing more than 1,000 workers. The Factories Amendment Act 1976, the second amendment to the Factories Act was made in 1976 with the provides for the regulations of the working hours, including overtime pay and the rest intervals. The Factories Act Amendment Act 1987, the third. Why is that 1987 is a very key area that, as you are remembering, the Bhopal city happened in the year 1984. After that, this amendments has come. The third amendments to the Factories Act was made in 1987, which provided for the regulation of the hazardous process and the establishment of occupational health centers in the factories. I'm feeling that all the listeners are going back and remembering the incident happened in Bhopal. And I'm not going to discuss in detail about that. You are aware about that. The Factories Amendment Act 1997, the fourth amendment to the Factories Act was made in 1997, which provides for the regulation of industrial homework and made provision for the safety of workers engaged in the hazardous process. The Factories Amendments Act 2014, the fifth amendment to the Factories Act was made in 2014, which provides for the enhancement of the penalties for the contravention of the provisions of the Act and made provision for the safety and the welfare of contractor workers. And BOCW also introduced, and which is taking care for the construction workers. The Factories Amendment Act 2020, the latest amendment to the Factories Act, was made in 2020, which provides for the increase in the threshold limit for the applicability of Act from 10 workers to 20 workers. This I have discussed in the same this podcast. Thus, I want to share these amendments were made to ensure the safety, health, welfare, and the working condition of workers in factories and to keep pace with the changing needs of the industries. These act and rules which is framed by the government, central government or the state government, these are the minimum requirement to be followed by the companies, by the industries. You can go beyond that. You can do better than that, what has been mentioned in the factories and factory rules. Who is stopping? That for that purpose, that changes and what is happening in the scenario of the technological development, which I have discussed, the sensors, robotics, wearable technology, virtual and augmented reality, Internet of Things, that has to be introduced. And India, I have experienced that this one sensor provided in worker's helmet, and by that they are knowing which worker is where and what he is doing and what the job has been assigned to him, is in that area or not. That way we can regulating that their activities, their attendance, that is working. That way we have reduced that paperwork, I should say. This technology is giving the very good things, that we are reducing the paperwork and immediate, that we are calling the real time that we are getting it. So I am thinking that what I have collected, I have shared with you, and it may be helpful for you. If something required from me, that you go through my podcast and the video I have loaded in this Facebook. No doubt, in the comment section, you can say it is good or it is bad, and what your in future what you want from my side. But in earlier recording, I have also shared that even 2 or 3% are getting benefited by this. I will be happy, and that will give the satisfaction. As I told you, I am not the person who is saying that I am knowing this and this and that, but I am believing I am the techno-social workers. I am the techno-social worker, and I am making a team of the techno-social workers who will be available for giving any type suggestions and When need is there, they can guide you. I am having the plan under the banner of the TSW Techno Social Workers banner, some interview of the renowned person, the eminent personality of India will be there in the upcoming uploads on YouTube. You'll see that the interview from the PSU personality who have faced the problem, who have faced the challenges, how they have come out, how they have reduced the frequency of the accident. So please wait, but don't forget to give your comments in the comment section. Thank you. Namaskar.